Dear friends, today I am teaching you Electricity Chapter 12 of Class 10th. Electricity has an important place in modern society. It is controllable and convenient form of energy for a variety of uses in homes, schools, hospitals, industries and so on. What constitutes electricity? How does it flow in an electric circuit? What are the factors that control or regulate the electric current through the electric circuit? This must be kept in your mind, and for that, we must know electric current is expressed by the amount of charge flowing through a particular area in unit time. In other words, it is rate of flow of electric charges. The circuits using metallic wires, electrons constitute the flow of charge. However, electrons were not known at the time when the phenomena of electricity was first observed. So, electric current was considered to be the flow of positive charge, and direction of flow of positive charges was taken to be direction of electric current. Conventionally, in an electric circuit, the direction of electric current is taken as opposite to the direction of flow of electrons, which are negative charges. It is net charge if net charge is Q, capital Q, flows across any cross section of a conductor in time small t. Then the current I through the cross section can be considered as I is equal to Q upon T. The SI unit of electric current or electric charge is coulomb. SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, which is equivalent to the charge obtained in nearby or nearly 6 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. SI unit of electric charge is coulomb C, which is equivalent to the charge contained in nearly 6 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. This number of electrons, we know that an electron possesses a negative charge of 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. One electron has charge 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and then think about the 6 into 10 to the power 18 electrons charge. The electric current is expressed by a unit called ampere, named after the French scientist André Marie Ampere. His time was 1775 to 1836. 1 ampere is constituted by the flow of 1 coulomb of charge per second. That is, 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 second. Smaller quantities of current are expressed in milliampere. 1 milliampere is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 ampere, or in microampere, 1 microampere mu A is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 ampere. An instrument called ammeter measures electric current in a circuit. It is always connected in series in a circuit through which the current is to be measured. You can see the diagram in your NCERT book 12.1. This is the systematic diagram of typical electric circuit comprising a cell, an electric bulb, an ammeter, and a plug key. Note that the electric current flows in the circuit from the positive terminal of the cell to negative terminal of the cell through the bulb and ammeter. You can understand this, and know the conventional method of representing the current. Electrons are able to travel through a perfect solid crystal smoothly and easily, almost as if they were in a vacuum. The motion of the electrons in a conductor, however, is very different from that of the charges in empty space. When a steady current flows through a conductor, the electrons in it moves with a certain average drift speed, and that drift speed can be calculated for a typical copper wire carrying a small current, and it is found to be actually very small, which you will study in higher classes. Now we'll see electrical potential or potential difference. For flow of charges in a conducting metallic wire, the gravity of course has no role to play. The electrons move only if there is a difference of electric pressure called the potential difference. I stress again, if there is a difference of electric pressure called potential difference along the conductor, this difference of potential may be produced by a battery consisting of one or more electric cells. The chemical action within a cell generates the potential difference across the terminals of the cell, even when no current is drawn from it. When the cell is connected to a conducting circuit element, the potential difference sets the charge in motion in the conductor and produces an electric current. In order to maintain the current in a given electric circuit, the cell has to expend its chemical energy stored in it. So after complete consumption of chemical energy, the cell becomes useless and it is thrown. Some cells are for chargeable. They can be charged again. We define the electric potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit carrying some current as the work done to move a unit charge from one point to another. This is, I repeat again, the electric potential difference between the 2 points in an electric circuit carrying some current as the work done to move a unit charge from one point to the other. Potential difference denoted by capital letter between 2 points is equal to work done capital W upon charge capital Q. So V is equal to W upon Q. The SI unit of electric potential difference is volt, named after Alessandro Volta. His time was 1745 to 1827, an Italian physicist. 1 volt is the potential difference between 2 points in a current carrying conductor when 1 joule of work is done to move a charge 1 coulomb from one point to the other. So 1 volt is equal to 1 joule upon 1 coulomb, or 1 V is equal to 1 Jc minus 1. The potential difference is measured by means of an instrument called voltmeter. The voltmeter is always connected in parallel across the points between which the potential difference is to be measured. Now, in 1827, German physicist Georg Simon Ohm found out the relationship between the current I flowing in a metallic wire and the potential difference across its terminals. The potential difference V across the ends of a given pentalic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. I repeat, the potential difference V across the ends of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature remains the same. This is called Ohm's law, and in words we can write V is directly proportional to I, or V upon I is equal to constant, and this constant is represented by capital letter R, so we can say V is equal to IR. R is a constant for the given metallic wire at a given temperature and is called resistance. It is the property of a conductor to resist the flow of charges through it. The SI unit of resistance is ohm, represented by Greek letter omega. According to Ohm's law, R is equal to V upon I. If the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor is 1V and the current passing through it is 1A, then the resistance R, the conductor of the conductor, is 1 ohm. That is, 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt upon 1 ampere. This equation is I is equal to V upon R. This is very famous Ohm's law, and its applications are mostly asked in the examination. It is observed that ammeter reading decreases to 1/2 when the length of the wire is doubled. The ammeter reading is increased when a thicker wire of the same material and the same length is used in the circuit. A change in ammeter reading is observed when a wire of different materials of same length and the same area of cross section is used. On applying Ohm's law, we observe that resistance of the conductor depends on 1. On its length, 2. On its area of cross section, and 3. On the nature of its material. Precise measurements have shown that resistance of a uniform metallic conductor is directly proportional to its length L, and inversely proportional to the area of cross section A. Now we can write R is directly proportional to I, R is inversely proportional to 1 upon A. Combining equation, these two, we get R is directly proportional L upon A, and if we remove the proportionality sign, we'll get a symbol that is called rho. So R is equal to rho L upon A. Rho is constant of proportionality and is called electrical resistivity of the material of the conductor. The SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. It is characteristics property of the material. The metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter to 10 to the power minus 6 ohm meter. They are good conductors of electricity. The insulators like rubber and glass have resistivity of the order 10 to the power 12 to 10 to the power 17 ohm meter. Both the resistance and resistivity of material vary with temperature. This can be seen in your table 12.2 of NCERT book. Here the silver has 1.60 into 10 to the power minus 8 resistivity ohm meter, whereas the insulator like paper has only 10 to the power plus 12 resistivity. Now, after this much, the resistance can be arranged or connected in series and parallel. What happens to the value of current when a number of resistors are connected in series what will happen there? In series combination of resistors, the current is the same at every part of the circuit or same current through each resistors. The potential difference V is equal to the sum of the potential difference V1, V2, V3. These are the potential difference of each individual resistors. If I am taking 3, then I will take V1, V2, V3, and that is the total potential difference across the combination of resistors in series is equal to the sum of the potential difference across the individual resistors. So V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, and we know Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, and if I put the values, I will get 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1, sorry, not 1, I upon IR is equal to I upon IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3, and I is taken common on both sides. We will get RS. RS means resistance in series is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So we can conclude that when several resistance are joined in series, the resistance of the combination RS equal to the sum of their individual resistors R1, R2, R3, and thus greater than any individual resistors. Now we can see if we connect them in parallel. And in parallel, face to face, as we stand with your friend face to face, and our left hand side is in the hand of our friend right hand, and our right hand is in the hand of left hand, it is observed that the total current I, the current I is equal to the sum of the separate currents through each branch of the combination. Then the current I will distribute in 3 parts or 4 parts as the number of resistors are used. I am taking only 3, so I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, and applying Ohm's law and putting the value, I may say 1 upon Rp. Rp means resistance in parallel is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3, and we may conclude that reciprocal of equivalent resistance of a group of resistances joined in a parallel is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of individual resistance. So we have seen that in series circuit the current is constant throughout the electric circuit. Thus it is obvious impracticable to connect an electric bulb and electric heater in series because current is constant throughout. Electric bulbs and electric heater in series. Why? Because they need currents of widely different values to operate properly. Electric heater, electric series, electric bulbs and others our electrical appliances will require different currents, but here the current is same. So what happened? Another major disadvantage of the series circuit is that when one component fails, if we connect many appliances in series, if one is failed or when one is having some fault, the circuit is broken and none of the components works. If you have used fairy lights to decorate buildings on festivals, on marriage celebration or in Deepavali or other festivals, you might have seen the electrician spending lot of time in trouble locating. He will check each and every bulb and replacing the dead bulb. Each has to be tested to find which has fused or gone. On the other hand, a parallel circuit divides the current through the electric gadget. The total resistance in a parallel circuit is described, and this is helpful in particularly when each gadget has different resistance and requires different current to operate properly. So which thing you understand? You can connect in series or in parallel. It is your desire. If you want to have some problem during the function, then don't connect the fairy series in series. Always connect in parallel. An electric fan becomes warm if used continuously for longer time. On the other hand, if the electric circuit is purely resistive, that is, configuration of resistors only connected to a battery, the source energy continuously gets dissipated entirely in the form of heat. This is known as the heating effect of electric current. I repeat again, an electric fan becomes warm if used continuously for longer time. On the other hand, if electric circuit is purely resistive, that is, a configuration of resistors only connected to a battery, the source energy continuously gets dissipated entirely in the form of heat. This is known as the heating effect of electric current. This effect is utilized in devices such as electric heater, electric irons, and so on. So I will give only three equations. P is your what? The source of power or power produced. So power input P is equal to V into Q upon T, or V is equal to or P is equal to VI. One equation. Second, this P can be represented when heat is producing, so H is equal to VIT. And applying Ohm's law, the third one is heat is equal to I square RT. This I square RT is the Joule's law of heating. The law implies that heat produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of the current for a given resistance, and secondly, the directly proportional to the resistance for a given current, and third, directly proportional to the time for which the current flows. Therefore, its formula is H is equal to I square RT, and directly proportional to the square of the current, directly proportional to the resistance, and directly proportional to the time taken. In practical situation, when an electric appliance is connected to a known voltage source, it is used after calculating. We find I is equal to V upon R, and we can find the heating effect easily. So Joule's law is really important. Joule's law of heating may be asked in the examination. So practical applications of heating effect of current. Heating effect of electric current has many useful applications. The electric laundry iron, electric toaster, electric oven, electric kettle, electric heater are some of the familiar devices based on Joule's heating. The electric heating is also used to produce light, as it is an electric bulb. It is if you see in the electric bulb, filament must retain as much of the heat generated as is possible so that it gets very hot and emits light. It must not melt at such high temperature. A strong metal with high melting point such as tungsten, melting point is 3380 degrees Celsius, is used for making bulb filaments. The filament should be thermally isolated as much as possible using insulating support. The bulbs are usually filled with chemically inactive nitrogen and argon gases to prolong the life of the filament. Most of the power consumed by filament appears as heat, but a small part of it is in the form of light radiated. Another common application of the Joule's law of heating is the fuse used in electric circuit. The fuse is placed in series with the device. It constitutes a piece of wire made of metal or an alloy of appropriate melting point. For example, aluminium, copper, iron, lead, etc. If a current larger than the specified values flows through the circuit, the temperature of the fuse wire increases. This melts the fuse wire and breaks the circuit. The fuse wire is usually cast in a cartridge of porcelain or similar material with metal ends. The fuse used for domestic purposes are rated 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere or 10 ampere. For an electric iron which consumes 1 kilowatt electric power when operated at 220 volt, a current of 1000 upon 220 ampere, that is 4.54 ampere, will flow in circuit. In this case, 5 ampere fuse must be used. So 5 ampere, how we calculate? 1 kilowatt means 1000 and connected in a potential difference 220. So 1000 upon 220 we get 4.5 ampere, 4.54, and that is approximately 5 ampere. So we can use, or we can select the fuse which is appropriate for our home appliances. Now, electric power, the rate at which electric energy is dissipated or consumed in an electric circuit. This is also termed as electric power, and power is denoted by P. P is equal to VI. P is also equal to I square R or V square upon R. The SI unit of electric power is watt, and it is the power consumed by a device that carries 1 ampere of current when operated at a potential difference of 1 volt. Therefore, 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. The unit watt is very small. Therefore, in actual practice, we used a much larger unit called kilowatt. It is equal to 1000 watts. Since electrical energy is the product of power and time, the unit of electric energy is therefore watt hour. You understand this? Since electrical energy is the product of power and time, the unit of electric energy is therefore watt hour. 1 watt hour is the energy consumed when 1 watt of power is used for 1 hour. The commercial unit of electric energy is kilowatt hour, kWh, commonly known as unit. 1 kWh is 1 unit, and 1 kWh is equal to 1000 into 3600 second. This is 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 watt second, or we can write it 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules, or 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 watt